continue now at the top of Daf Yud Bezim and Meseches Pesachim. This is Pesachim Daf 12b. The Gemara here is explaining the position of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda had said that if one aid says the incident, the murder happened in the third hour of the day, and the other aid says it happened in the fifth hour of the day, we can accept the testimony. We can assume a leeway that they make a mistake of about 3 hours. So the Gemara said accordingly, if you're going to try to falsify these Eidim, make them Eidim Zomin, you've got to falsify them all the way from the first hour through the sixth hour. Say you were with us at that time in some other place. And the Gemara says, Ela ben Yamama Lilel Yaloto Inshi. Really, the leeway should be even more than that, even earlier than the first hour, but we assume that a person does not make a mistake between day and night. So Rashi says over here, Ela ben Yamama Lilel Yaloto Inshi. Ulevasrei Yavinan Le Revias Chamishis Veshishis. The guy who testified it happened in the third hour, so we give him a leeway of the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth hour after. Ulebal Chamish, and the guy who testified it happened in the fifth hour, Yavinan Lekamei Revias Ushlishis Ushniya. We give him earlier than the fifth hour a leeway of the fourth, third, and second hour. Ulebasrei Shishis, and we give him a leeway after of the sixth hour. We don't give him beyond the sixth hour. Rashi points out something the Gemara is about to point out. Vakati Havilon Lemesav Lei. Now we're going to continue to ask, and we could continue to ask, what about giving him a little bit more? Give him beyond the sixth hour. But for that, we don't say, because people don't make a mistake between the fifth hour and the seventh hour. Because again, in the fifth hour, the sun is in the east. In the seventh hour, it's in the west. Rashi points out an important point here. All of this leeway we're giving the Eidim, that's to save them, meaning the Eidim. We don't want to kill the Eidim. The halacha is, if you find Eidim to be Eidim Zoman, you give them a punishment of Kasher Zamam. You do to them what they tried to do to the defendant. So you have to falsify all of these hours in order to put them to death. But nevertheless, if you just falsify one of the two witnesses, just the falsification of one of them, and the hour after is going to be enough to throw out the edus and save the defendant. You don't even need to falsify the mistake, the leeway in front. And Rashi gives an example. For example, let's say we tell the guy who said it happened in the third hour of the day, we say to him, you were with us, third, fourth, and fifth hour. And now he's going to say, well, I didn't really lie, it was really in the second hour, I just made a mistake. So at that point, you've already split the edus apart. Because if it really did happen in the second hour, if that's when the incident occurred, you're down to one witness. Because the other guy said fifth hour, people don't make a mistake between the fifth hour and the second hour. So there you have an example again where the edus is going to be thrown out. You're not going to necessarily punish the witnesses, but you've split the edus and you've caused it to be thrown out. And the Gemara continues, again, as we said earlier in Rashi, really we should give him a little leeway even after the time. Except that in the fifth hour, the sun is in the east. In the seventh hour already, the sun is in the west. So people don't make that kind of a mistake. So we don't give that leeway. So now the Gemara takes all of this analysis in the case of edus and murder and places it in the context of our Mishnah. So Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah. Rabbi Meir says, Ochlin kol hey, the fifth hour, you're allowed to eat chametz, v'sarfin b'tchilas vav, and then you burn the chametz in the beginning of the sixth hour. Rabbi Yehuda says, Ochlin kol dalid, you eat the entire fourth hour, v'tolin kol hey, in the fifth hour you don't eat, but you don't burn yet, v'sarfin b'tchilas vav, and you begin burning the chametz in the beginning of the sixth hour. Of course, this is all on the 14th of Nisan. So now the Gemara asks, remember we had two approaches in Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, we had Abaya and Rava. So the Gemara says, Li Abaya aliva de Rabbi Meir. Now, according to Abaya, whose position in Rabbi Meir was, the Omar ein adam toeh v'lo klum. He says that according to Rabbi Meir, people don't make any mistake at all. We don't give any leeway. So nechol kula sheis. If people don't make a mistake at all, why not eat chametz the entire sixth hour? Just burn it right before it's asur midoraisa. Ula'achlish nanami. And according to the other lashon as well, the Omar adam toeh mashu, where we said a person makes a little bit of a mistake. Nechalat sof shis. Okay, so eat until the end of the sixth hour. Leave over that little bit of mashu. That's going to be according to Abaya, according to Rabbi Meir. Via Abaya, leave it to Rabbi Yehuda and go with Rabbi Yehuda. Abaya, according to Rabbi Yehuda. The Yamar Adam Toa Chatzi Shah. According to the first version of Abaya, a person generally makes a mistake, we give him a leeway of a half an hour. Nechol ad palga d'sheis, let them eat chametz until halfway through the 6th hour. And according to the second version of Abaya, that a person makes a mistake of an hour and a little bit, nechol ad sofeh, you should eat until the end of the 5th hour. So according to Abaya, basically Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda from the case of the Eidos doesn't really line up. It doesn't really line up with Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda in our Mishnah. El Amar Abaya, so Abaya answers, or Amar Abaya answers, Eidos Mesura Lizrizim Chametz L'chol Maser. Eidos is something that's only given to people who are careful, so we give less leeway for the Eidos, but Chametz is given over to everybody, and therefore we actually want to give a little bit more of a leeway. We want to distance you a little bit more from Chametz, so we say stop eating Chametz a little earlier than we might assume a mistake when it comes to Eidim. Gemara now asks according to Rava. The Rava aliba de Rabbi Meir. What about Rava according to Rabbi Meir? The Omar Adam Toa Shtei Shos Chaser Mashu. Rava had said that according to Rabbi Meir, a person makes a mistake of about 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours. So then mitchilas heilo nechol. So according to Rabbi Meir, you shouldn't eat from the beginning of the 5th hour. So why, again, according to Rabbi Meir, why does Rabbi Meir say you can eat the entire 5th hour? Or you should actually be a little more strict. For the beginning of the 5th hour, you shouldn't be allowed to, from the beginning of the 5th hour, you shouldn't be allowed to eat. So the Gemara says to that, no, there you won't get confused. Hey, chama b'mizrach. Because in the 5th hour, the sun's in the east. V'zayin chama b'mayrif. 7th hour, the sun is in the west. That's why we say you can eat the entire 5th hour, according to Rabbi Meir. Gemara says, well, if that's the case, if so, b'shis nami nechol. Why not eat in the 6th hour as well? The 6th hour, sun is in the east. It only transfers over to the west in the 7th hour. To which the Gemara answers, Amar Ravada Barava. Ravada Barava says, Shis Yoma Bekarnasakai. The 6th hour already, the sun is at the meridian. It's unclear exactly where the sun is, and therefore there is a bit of a confusion. Rashi says, Bekarnasakai be'emtza harakia. It's in the middle of the sky. Krova lintos lamizrach, ukrova limtos lamayriv, v'yein omdin oleha. It's kind of close to the east, kind of close to the west. It's difficult to see, and that's why in that particular case, 6th hour, we're going to be strict. Gemara asks according to Rabbi Yehuda. The Rava aliva de Rabbi Yehuda. What about Rava according to Rabbi Yehuda? Damar Adam Toa Gimel shows Chaser Mashu. Person makes a mistake of about 3 hours, a little less than 3 hours. Mitchilas Dalid Lo Nechel. Again, a person shouldn't eat from the beginning of the 4th hour, and Rabbi Yehuda said you can eat the entire 4th hour. To which the Gemara answers again, Hey Chama b'Mizrach v'Shema Chama b'Mayrav. We've already said that in the 5th hour the sun is in the east, in the 7th hour the sun's in the west. The Kol Shekain Dalid, certainly the 4th hour is not going to be a problem. Gemara says, well, if that's the answer, if so, behei nami nechel. Well, then you should apply that to the 5th hour and say that why is he strict in the 5th hour? You should be allowed to eat chametz in the 5th hour. Gemara answers, Tirgama Abaya aliba de Rava. Abaya answered on behalf of Rava, Eidus Mesura Lizrizim. When it comes to Eidus, once again, that's something given over to people who are careful. Chametz l'chol maser. Chametz is something which is given to everybody. So, therefore, in the 5th hour, we don't want to be lenient when it comes to chametz. The Rava says a different answer. Lav hainu taima de Rabbi Yehuda. That's not the reason of Rabbi Yehuda. Ela Rabbi Yehuda l'taime. Rather, Rabbi Yehuda follows his reasoning. Diamar ein bir chametz el esreifa. Rabbi Yehuda says that the way you destroy chametz is by burning. V'yahavu le rabbanon sha'achas lilkot ba'etzim. So we give you that hour, that 5th hour. We say don't eat chametz because you want to give you an hour to collect the wood in order to burn the chametz. Now, really technically, you're right. You could eat in the 5th hour because you won't get confused because the sun is in the east in the 5th hour and it's in the west in the 7th hour. But we want to give the additional hour. We tell you not to eat chametz in the 5th hour so you could collect wood. So to that, Eisvei Ravina l'Rava. Ravina now asks Rava a question. This answer, using this concept that we burn chametz, Ravina asks as follows. Amar Rabbi Yehuda says, Eimosai shelo b'shas biuro. When do you have to burn the chametz? That's not at the time of the destruction. Ava b'shas biuro, but once you get to the time of biur, the actual time of the destruction of the chametz, right before chametz is prohibited, hashbasaso b'chol davar, then actually you can destroy chametz in any fashion. So therefore it's not even true. You don't need to burn the chametz when you're destroying it in the 6th hour. Elam Rava, so rather Rava says, Gezeira misham yom hamaonan. The real reason why there's a problem in the 5th hour, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is because it might be a cloudy day, and on a cloudy day you actually would get confused. Gemara says, if we're worried about a cloudy day, then in the 4th hour of the day also you shouldn't eat chametz. Why is he allowing that? To which the Gemara answers, Amar Papa says, Dalid zman seuda la kolhi. The 4th hour is a time where everyone eats their meal, even on a cloudy day. People know when it's the 4th hour because that is mealtime. The Gemara continues with a brisa. Tanu Rabbana, we learned in a brisa. Shah Rishona Maichel Ludim. In the 1st hour of the day, that's when the Ludim eat. Ludim were a nation of cannibals. They ate very early in the day. Shnia, the 2nd hour of the day, Maichel Listim. That's the time that plunderers, robbers eat. Shlishis Machol Yarsh. In the 3rd hour of the day, that's when people who inherit wealth, that's when they eat. Rashi says, Yarsh and Lamishim Ravsanis, not that Yarsh are ravenous. They just didn't need to do any work, so they're able to eat a little bit earlier in the day. Revius, the 4th hour of the day, Machol Poelin, that's when the workers eat. Chamishis Machol Talmidei Chachamim, the 5th hour of the day, that's when the Talmidei Chachamim eat. Shishis Machol Kol Adam, in the 6th hour of the day, that's when everybody eats. So that's a direct contradiction to what Rav Papa just said. Gemara asks, V'amar Rav Papa, didn't Rav Papa just say, Revius Mansu de la Koli, that it's the 4th hour of the day that everybody eats? Here in the Brisa it says the 6th hour of the day. So the Gemara answers, Ela Epoch, you're right, you have to reverse the Brisa. Revius Maichel Kol Adam, the 4th hour of the day is when everybody eats. Chamishas Maichel Poalim, the 5th hour of the day is when the workers eat. Shishis Maichel Talmidei Chachamim, 6th hour of the day is when the Talmidei Chachamim eat. Mikan V'elach, from then and onward, Kazorek Even Lachamos. It's like throwing a stone into a leather bottle. It does not contribute at all to one's health. Amar Abaye says, Lo Amanel de Lo Toy Midi B'Tzafra. That's only true that if you eat after the 6th hour, it's problematic if you didn't eat anything in the morning. Avol Toy Midi B'Tzafra, but if you already ate something in the morning, less lunba, then eating after that 6th hour is not going to be a problem. It's not going to be like Zorek Even Lachamos. Gemara now says, Amar Rav Ashi says, K'machlokas be'edus kach machlokas b'chometz. The same machlokas, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, that applies by edus, that is the machlokas when it comes to chometz, which is really everything we've been saying up till now. We've been saying that Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, the machlokas they have in terms of how much leeway to give the witnesses, that is lishitasam in terms of how early a person should stop eating chometz. The Gemara says pshita. It's obvious. Hainu hach. That's what we've been saying the whole time. Hainu hach damrinan. That's what we've been saying the whole time. The Gemara says no. Hakamash malon shinuya deshaninan shinuyahu. The chiddush of Rav Ashi is the answers that we gave are real answers. These are legitimate answers. V'lo tema tanoi. Don't try to say there's a machlokas tanoim, meaning what Rabbi Meir really says. Maybe there's a machlokas what Rabbi Meir holds. Maybe there's a machlokas what Rabbi Yehuda holds. No, Rabbi Meir is consistent with his opinion. Rabbi Yehuda is consistent with his opinion. Amar Rav Simi bar Ashi. Now Rav Simi bar Ashi says, Lo shanu ela b'shos. This whole thing is only true when it comes to hours. Rashi says, Lo shanu hachtas anhedron el shahidu al ashos. It's only true in terms of witnesses when they testify about hours. But if they say it happened and they say something about Hanetz Hachama, something about sunrise, Ein Kantos Elakazav, then we don't assume a mistake, then we assume they are lying if there's some kind of inconsistency. Gemara goes on to say, let's say one witness says it happened before Hanetz Hachama. One says it happened after Hanetz Hachama. So here they're not saying hours. Here one witness says it happened before sunrise. One witness says it happened after sunrise. So in that case, Eidusan B'Tela. In that case, their Eidus would be nullified. We don't give them any leeway in such a situation. Gemara says, Pshita, well that's obvious. Why would we give them leeway? So rather the Gemara says, Ela Echad Omer Kodem Hanetz Hachama. Rather, even if one of them says it happened before Hanetz Hachama, V'Echad Omer Besoch Hanetz Hachama, and one says it happened during sunrise, even in that case, Eidusan B'Tela, we nullify their testimony. Gemara says, Hanami Pshita. Isn't that also obvious? Gemara says, Ma'u Detema, no, what might you have said? Travayu Chadam Yilsa Kamri. They're really both saying the same thing. V'Hada Kamar, and that which he said. And Rashi over here says, what's first of all, Besoch Hanetz, Keshamaschil Hanetz. One said it happened again before Hanetz Hachama. One said it happened as Hanetz Hachama was beginning. And again, the Gemara will explain what the chiddush is. We'll see that in the next video on Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph.